This audio is for the students of class 8 and the subject is English. Hello students, hope you all are keeping well. Today I shall explain to you all lesson 4, The Great Escape from Blossoms. The story is written by Sugata Bose, who was born to the eminent freedom fighter Dr. Shishir Kumar Bose and Mrs. Krishna Bose. He is the grandnephew of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose and the grandson of Sharat Chandra Bose. Now, as we all know that Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose was born on 23rd January 1897, was one of the most famous Indian nationalist leaders who fought for India's independence from British rule. He founded the INA, that is, the Indian National Army, which included a women's regiment too. In 1941, the British government put Subhash under house arrest, which means he was confined in his own house so that he could not escape anyhow. Now, this story describes the exciting and courageous escape of Subhash from the clutches of the British to continue his struggle for India's freedom. Now it was December afternoon when Subhash was reclining, that means he was leaning back on his pillows, and his nephew Shishir entered his bedroom. Shishir was to help plan and carry out Subhash's escape from India. Now, Shishir was a trustworthy person and Subhash relied on him blindly. Shishir would have to drive his uncle to a railway station far away from Calcutta in the dead of the night. That means when it was completely dark. Now, Subhash's residence was at Elgin Road. So from there, Shishir walked back to his own house at 1 Woodburn Park in a state of wonder and subdued excitement. So he was really very excited and thrilled about their plan of escape. The police were keeping watch on Subhash's house. But Subhash had an additional, which means an extra, excuse for meeting his nephew Shishir. And what was that extra excuse? Shishir was good at operating the radio and he helped Subhash listen to foreign broadcasts, means foreign messages. Both Subhash and Shishir discussed various means of escape, and finally they came up with a plan. So what did they do? They decided to drive out in the most natural fashion, means in the most natural way, through the main gate. Why did they do so? So that nobody could get to know about what they were planning to do. Now, Shishir owned a German car called the Wanderer, which they chose for their journey. So students, here ends the first part of the chapter. Let's continue. Subhash had cabled, means he had telegraphed Akbar Shah to meet him at Calcutta. Now, who was Akbar Shah? He was a co-worker in the freedom struggle against British Raj. He operated in the northwestern frontier provinces, means border regions. And what was his role in this regard? He was to help Subhash escape. Now, when Akbar Shah came to Calcutta, he was introduced to Shishir. Then together they went to a shop which was located in central Calcutta, where they purchased a number of items for Subhash. What were those items? Baggy salwars, means trousers, and a black fez for Subhash's disguise. Now, what is a black fez? It is a felt cap that is shaped like a flat-topped cone. You all must have seen Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose wearing a black fez on his head in many pictures. Shishir also purchased a suitcase, a bedroll, shirts and pillows for his uncle. And Subhash was to carry these items with him in the journey. Shishir then went to a printer's shop. He ordered what? A set of calling cards which read Muhammad Ziauddin, Travelling Inspector, The Empire of India Life Insurance Company Limited. Now, what was this? This was the false identity with which Subhash was to travel. Now, why did Subhash have to travel with a false identity? Because he did not want his real identity to get revealed. So on 16 January 1941, Shishir finished his dinner early and drove to Elgin Road, that means his uncle's residence, and he reached there around 8:30 p.m. He parked his car at the back of the house. Both Shishir and Subhash had maintained total secrecy about the plan of escape. None of the family members knew about their plan except Subhash's niece Ila and a male cousin Dijen. So Subhash and Shishir waited until the rest of the family members had fallen asleep. And what did Subhash do after that? He had changed into his disguise as Muhammad Ziauddin. And how did he dress himself up? He was dressed in a long brown coat, baggy salwars, and a black fez. He also wore gold wire rimmed spectacles. It was a moonlit night and the time was 1:35 a.m. Subhash's male cousin Dijen signaled from an upstairs window that no policeman was nearby. The policemen paced up and down the street before Subhash's house. After this, Subhash and his nephew Shishir hugged the inner wall of the long house corridor and tiptoed down the back stairs to the car. What does tiptoed mean? It means to walk without making any sound. Subhash sat in the back and Shishir drove the car. He started the engine and drove out from 38/2 Elgin Road. So this was the address of Subhash's residence. The light glowed in Subhash's bedroom to give the impression that he was still there, so that nobody would have any kind of doubts. Both Subhash and Shishir crossed Howrah Bridge and they went beyond the city's boundaries. They also spent a few anxious moments together. Why? Because the car engine faltered once. But within some time, it started again. And what did Shishir do? He dashed at high speed through the dark night. In the morning, at around 8:30 a.m., they arrived at Barari, a place near Dhanbad. They put up at the house of Shishir's brother, whose name was Ashok. Subhash kept his disguise on as Muhammad Ziauddin, and he told Ashok that he had come on insurance business. He was given a room to rest during the day. They met and talked in the evening and had an early dinner. So Ashok had no clues about who Muhammad Ziauddin was. Finally, Subhash left alone for Gomo station, which was some distance away, as he wanted to catch the Delhi Kalka mail from there. As usual, his trustworthy nephew Shishir picked him up in his wanderer and drove towards the railway station. They reached Gomo station in the moonlit night. Finally, they parted ways and Subhash disappeared into the darkness towards the platform on the opposite side. The Delhi Kalka mail released steam, and Shishir heard the rhythmic clutter, means the continuous noise of the wheels, and saw the train lights moving away. Thank you.